want to do that. Hello, everybody. We're glad to have you with us tonight. We are recording this session so everyone knows, and those you see without a screenshot are hiding. No, seriously, they're probably either having technical issues or, you know, they just don't want to be seen, so we'll leave them alone. But we're excited tonight because we have several of our wonderful local authors who are going to share with us their websites and talk a little bit about why they have their website where it is located, and maybe share extra information about maybe shortcomings about it or special things that that website host does that they like, and just generally fill us in on things that other writers are going to want to know when they get ready to set up their websites. Those people who could not be here tonight and whose websites we're not covering tonight, I will list them in the December newsletter, so make sure that you're on our mailing list for that. Hi, Aaron. And I want to talk about Frank, who's been, I said earlier, he's been here forever, and he's a wonderful friend to the Guild. He's always willing to help us and offer suggestions and information. Last time we talked book covers and he was at the tail end, and so tonight I thought I was going to start with him. It's only fair, Frank. And I want him to share a number of things that he does, a little bit on his marketing, but we hope to do more of that next year, so that won't maybe be as detailed. But otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Frank and let him take over.
Well, thanks, Linda. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can't really speak to which platform might be best because I've been with WordPress for a long while now when it comes to the website design. So hopefully there's folks who maybe did a better job of vetting other options, because there are a bunch of them, and they might be superior. It's just it's kind of like being a Windows person and thinking maybe I should have gone with a Mac, but everything's Windows now, so I'm not going to go buy all my programs over again. And I'm not dissatisfied with WordPress. It has its drawbacks. It has its positive points. I have 4 different websites, and all of them use WordPress. Those are like the delivery systems. I use iPower as the host. So those are 2 different things. If we need to dive into that, somebody can speak up later and we can examine that. But think about it like the host is the table, and the WordPress and these sorts of things are the plates and dishes and such that the food gets delivered on. So without any further ado, let me really quickly show you what I got, because I want to burn through this because there's other people presenting as well. Screen 2, share. Okay, so is everybody seeing the homepage of my website at this point? Somebody shoot me a thumbs up. Okay, so I know. Thumbs up. Okay.
Yes.
So this is my main website that I have. This I actually was designed a few years ago by a professional, but the website was very different up until a few years ago. I redesigned it with WordPress because it wasn't doing everything I needed to do. It's pretty standard. Some of you may have more attractive websites, but it's got everything you need across the top. It's got a homepage that kind of greets you and gives you all these places to connect, depending on where you want to go. I thought it was important to get my flagship series out on the front page so that it's right there for people to grab onto. And then, of course, as I said, if you want to go look at novels, you can go look at novels. If you want to go look at anthologies, about me, whatever. This is pretty standard stuff for the most part. You'll notice this line across the top. This is because this is not what you would see. This is because I'm logged in, and so you can make some changes. So I'm going to come back to that and show you a couple things real quick that I like about WordPress that maybe you will find worthwhile. I also write under my given name. This is just another website. Again, pretty basic. You know, there are more attractive websites out there. If you're going to do it yourself, you know, you don't always end up with the most beautiful of websites, but it's very functional. You can go in, look at the novels. Okay, click on that. And of course, it's going super slow right now, so I can't show you that stuff. But while it's grinding, okay, so there you go. There's the book. I used Isu to put the first few chapters on here as a viewable free, preview, kind of like on Amazon. It's just a little side note there. Got to divide it up by my adult stuff and then my kid stuff. Pretty basic. It's the same program. So with the podcast, it's a little different. This is kind of the homepage. Then you scroll down and you get the individual episodes. I changed my graphic here, so it's looks a little ragged there right now, but pretty soon it'll all look like this. If you don't want to listen to it on the website, you can go over here and click on whatever platform you want. Contact me. Definitely, if you do this, contact us, sort of thing. Get as irritating as it is, get the CAPTCHA thing set up in there, because I have gotten so many offers to work on my website, marry me from some Slavic country that I never heard of, or any other, spam. It doesn't filter it. So I do get a lot of contacts through the website from people, from authors wanting to be on the show, or publicity folks pitching their authors. So it's a great thing to have, but boy, I learned the hard way. You need to use the CAPTCHA. So that's that. And then I'm also branching into fantasy under another name. And so this is another real simple one here. These are some drawings that a guy that does some of my covers did. Again, a very basic site. So one of the things I like about it, though, is whatever you've got, if you decide you don't like it, you can go into customize and it'll take you in, and obviously at about Mach 0 here, because people are watching. So it brings you in here and it tells you, okay, here's the theme that you're using. Well, if I decide I want to use a different theme and I want my website to look incredibly different, I can download a theme so that I can look at it. And then they have this thing called live preview. To download a theme, you just search for, say, well, like I was looking for podcast themes before. It's searching installed themes now, WordPress themes. Let's say okay, there you go. So any of these that looks good to you, you're like, oh, I'm going to install and preview it. And so you can do that. The way the preview looks, though, you click on live preview and it basically recreates your site in this, this new setup. Now it's goofy because here's the about Frank, which is, just on the bar, and the regular one is in the middle of this. And so it is a little bit goofy. Sometimes you've got to make a bunch of changes to see how it really, if it really works or not. And you can go in and edit them, and I'll show you that in just a quick second, and then we'll get on there. Okay, so here's a different one entirely. If I say I like this better, I like this kind of a menu. I had tried this out previously, and that's why it's the picture that you probably recognize. And you can decide if you like it or not. But let's say I didn't like this picture here and I wanted to change it up. You can go into the header image and say, you know what, I'm going to use this image that I paid for and created and everything. Okay, now boom, now that's my header image. Well, it still looks like crap to me, but it was worth checking out. Here's what it came with initially. You can go in and change, your colors. You can go in and change what the fonts are, all that kind of stuff. And until you hit activate and publish, even though you're seeing it live, it's all just you're just all practicing. You're just looking at it. So when I click off of that and go away, and if I go back to my website, it's still the same website. Nothing's been changed. I went with this just because it's simple, it's straightforward. Everything that you need is here. You get the idea of what the deal is. You get the books right away, and that is that. Now, WordPress is basically free. There are a lot of plugins and themes and other things that are free, and there are some that are paid, and a lot of them have a free and paid version. So I pay for the hosting with iPower to have a table to put this stuff on, right? And you pay obviously for the domain names. So franksafiro.com, all the other ones I have to pay for those, but I don't pay a penny to WordPress. And recently, even though it's a free gig, when I was over here on this website and I was putting it together, I was having an issue where these were no longer even looking. They were stretched out on the side, and picture and wrong. And I couldn't figure out what the problem was. I did an email for some help because I figured people, I don't need to get on the phone about it. It's not, quite as pressing. Like 4 minutes later, I got an email back from one of the developers of the podcast importer, was the plugin I was using to pull the podcast from where it's published onto my site. And he exchanged emails with me 3, 4, 5 times over the course of a day. And not only did he have a solution that fixed the problem, but I learned a couple of other things that I was able to employ that were helpful. So the support, even for the free version, was pretty good. Now, your mileage may vary, mine may vary on a different program perhaps, but certainly that one worked out really well. I kind of like the simplicity of this particular platform, I guess, or this, WordPress. But if you go into, say, your dashboard to do stuff, editing the pages to fix them, to change them up, isn't always so easy. And for instance, oops, I need to go to pages. If I wanted to go into this one, so this is a page for my serial and novella anthology, A Grifter Song. I can't just grab onto this like I can in some programs, and you can grab it and just move it. I have to cut it and paste it elsewhere, and it's kind of a pain. Now, you also notice how these are really nicely spaced, but if I had to add a 7th one here, which I actually will pretty soon, it's a pain, and sometimes you get a real goofy looking outcome. In fact, I'll show you the one that's the biggest pain, and that's this anthologies one. Part of the reason is, I think, because not all of the covers are the same size. So as you can see, pretty orderly, looks pretty orderly. Personally, these are my 3 newest anthologies, for these 4 right here. I'd like for these to be pretty close to the top, maybe even, at least the 2nd row or something like that. When I try to move them up there, can't move them. So if I cut them, cut that one, and I'll go, you know what? I think I want it to be right here. So I'll click on that. I'll move off to the left, paste it. Oh my God. Look at that. What the hell just happened? Why didn't just push everything one direction? Well, maybe I need to have no alignment. Oh, that just moves it over there. Well, maybe I need to have left alignment. No. And I have jerked around with it forever, and I still can't figure out why it does what it does. I'm pretty much stuck with adding them at the bottom as I go. They had a big change in how they did do things about a year ago. It was really easy to use before that, and now it uses a completely different methodology. So if free, good support for some of the plugins, very widely used. So there's a lot of themes and a lot of plugins, but clunky to design the page unless you do it exactly the way that they want you to do, which I suppose anybody with half a brain would. I clearly don't fall into that category, but I learned how to do it one way. You may sympathize with this. They learned how to do it one way. They changed it up to a completely different way. And it's not so much a problem when I add a new page, which occasionally I'll need to do. if a new book comes out or whatever, but it's a real pain with the existing pages that were created under the old way that now are kind of clunky and don't exactly mesh. Um, I, I think I don't really want to go on any further because I think I've used up my time and I want to turn it over. So do you want to do questions before we go on, or questions for everybody after, Linda?
Yeah, I was thinking we could go ahead with your questions because sometimes people forget after they get through. I did want to mention that the chat function is available as well on the bottom of your screen, or in Joyce's case, I don't know, someplace. You can hit the chat and it will open up on the side, the little screen where you can type in things that will pretty much go to everybody unless you select an individual. So Frank, you could type in things there if it occurs to you. Other people can type in, but let's ask questions verbally. And if we get back to the, I don't know how convenient it is to hear people. When you have a question, you will need to unmute your microphone. So make sure you do that first. And because we can't see your faces now, we've got the screen share going. Maybe we could close that, Frank, for just there we go. And he may have to put that back up if necessary, but there are some comments already in the chat. So I welcome you to do that. Does anyone have a question for Frank so far on what he has shared?
I do.
Mhm.
I asked it in the chat, but I know just enough to be dangerous on WordPress at this point because I haven't practiced a lot. Do you have a recommendation for the best place to learn it, the best way to learn it? I've seen, there's 1,000 places out there to go, and I don't know which one would be the best, or easiest, or cheapest, or most expensive, or.
I don't either. I'm sorry. I figured it out on my own when it was
Okay,
when
that's
I
what I thought.
way back when, and then
Yeah.
I would be just as lost as you are. I'd be Googling it, and I mean, as Carissa put in the in the in the chat there, though, there are a lot of people out there who do know more what they're doing and aren't struggling through with a a before and after sort of website. So I guess you'd have to do a little detective Googling on that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's the way I've learned all of my programs is by the seat of my pants. And I thought I would try to do it the professional way this time, but having trouble. Okay, all right.
I am on WordPress and I haven't done much on it, but I received messages from them that they're holding their free workshops on how to do this stuff. So
Okay, that's
you
what.
might just look for that on there. And then
Okay.
Carissa mentioned YouTube in the chat. If you're don't have your chat open, there's a lot of good information going on there. I'm going to try to save that at the end. And actually, there's 3 dots. We're back to the signs. At the bottom of the chat screen on the right, there's 3 little dots. And if you hit more, it'll offer you an option at the top to save chat. And if you click on that, it saves it to your computer. And then after we leave, you'll see the chat list there that you can save. Any more questions for Frank? I think somebody had one in here. How do you go about getting a domain name?
I got mine through through iPower, who is where I host. But I mean, if you just type in get a domain name into Google, there's a ton of places that are able to let you register it.
Yes, I do mine through Bluehost, and they handle it for you if you want at a discount.
Yeah, I wondered.
I think Bluehost also has some podcasting things that are built into it specifically that are maybe superior to some of the other agencies or whatever you want to call them. So if you're going that direction, might be something to think about.
And most of the sites where you can have a free website posted, they will give you a free web domain name, but it has them in it. So people can see that it's not this fancy big web page that you yourself are putting up. You know, it looks like you're tagging on to them, but it is free. And problem with it is I don't believe you can take it with you. If you ever switch, you just lose that nomenclature.
It's between $9 and $15 a year, depending on, you know, like the first one's 15, and then I think it's $9.99 after that or something.
Yeah.
And to be able to have something that fits, you know, your brand is pretty important.
Yeah. Looks professional. Yeah, because mine's free. I haven't coughed up for that yet. So.
And you can have several domain names to the same, takes you to the same server.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might need to actually talk about domain names all at once in some session in the future. Let's see here. I got to let somebody else back in. Now, well, why don't we move along? I think, wasn't it you, Steve, that I said next, and then Beth, and then, oh dear, who have I lost?
So yeah, I can go if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
All right, so I'm Steve Lalonde, and I have my website is the domain is Stephen STEPHEN Lalonde LALONDE, all one word lowercase .us, and that would take you to the site. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. I can get the right one here. Share. All right, so let me move this off. So I hope you can see that. And this is the front page. What I need to say about this is I've had this website for a very long time, and I've been adding and modifying it and what have you. And it's gotten rather cluttered and what have you. So I'm in the process of moving to a different platform. This one is on a platform called webs.com. And they just sold to Vistaprint about 6 months ago, and they've been saying that they're going to change over to the Vistaprint operative system, but nothing has happened. So it's still working just fine as I know it through Webs. And as I said, I put together, it's become kind of piecemeal. And the most recent book that I've published is meant to the Nubian. And so I've tried to include things where, for instance, you go here to the reviews page, and it lists the reviews that people have given on the book, and then I have a page set up where I have a sample chapter that people can read, and I'm going to try to quickly move through some of this. I also have, let's see if it works here. I taught radio and television production for 26 years, and I wanted to have a little video. So I just really stuck a picture and then did an audio on it, and we'll see if we can get that to go. If I can find it. Well, we may be able to find it a little bit later. So, that's that book. It's part of a series was originally just going to be this book, Sign of Kira. But this website originally was designed to be for my retirement. And so it focuses on 4 things that I decided I was going to do in retirement. Writing was one of them. Woodworking is another. Swimming and my amateur radio. I'm a ham radio operator and have been for over 50 years. So all in the header here, I have all of those things that you can kind of choose from. And my photo albums then is the location for all the woodworking materials. And people can actually come in take a look at the woodworking stuff that's been done. And there's like, oh, let's see here. I think I'm up to 13. Yeah, 13 pages. So these are the most recent items right there. And just did a craft fair at Central Valley and one at University High School and sold a lot of this stuff there. But that's one of the activities that I'm doing in retirement. So the other thing I started recently is I had blogged on education because I was a teacher for some time, but I decided about sometime in August, I think it was, to try to do a daily blog on writing. And today was my 106th entry into my daily blog. So if you come to my website, click on my blogs, and then click on writing and publishing, you'll get this page. And these are blogs, which if you click on, like for instance, I'm talking about Wed Day. I actually mentioned this meeting tonight. If you click on read full post, then it would show you the rest of the posts. These are a very short post. So let's go back here. Oops, what happened? Oh, yeah, we go. There we go. Oh no, okay. I've got to open up something else here. File. Let me get this back. New tab. My computer's been particularly persnickety today, but you know, technology isn't like that really. I say that with tongue firmly placed through my cheek. Since I taught an awful lot of technology and spent as much time as teaching it, trying to make it work. And this one's not going to cooperate right now. Let's do this. New tab. And then we'll go back to Stephen. So if I go to get back into where we were before I accidentally closed the page.
No, that never happens.
Yeah, right. Only about 10 times a minute. So hopefully it'll come back up here momentarily. So what I've done is I'm preparing to move to another platform called GoDaddy. I'm actually paid for 2 years on webs, and I'm going to phase out of webs and go to GoDaddy. And the reason I'm making the move is two things. My youngest son is both of my kids are computer professionals, and my youngest son is a technology advisor, et cetera. He was the digital product supervisor for the Seattle Symphony for a time, and still works with them among other things, but he has his own company. He's helping me move to GoDaddy. And the reason I'm making the move is the webs.com didn't seem to have the ability to allow me to actually sell the books on the website. And GoDaddy will let me market it and be able to take credit cards and all of that, get the orders done and all of that. So I'm going to be moving to GoDaddy as best we can go. So see here, I did a video on how to build these rocking chairs. I did 12 of these rockers, and it built a video there. So that's on there as well. I was trying to find, I have a video that I put together, and it was on here, and I thought that it should click from this, but it's not making it. So at any rate, the cool thing about that particular video is that I'm using the absolute latest state-of-the-art computer-generated voice, and you really cannot tell that it is not a person speaking. And that's really kind of a neat deal to be able to have. Let's see here, what else? So I have Phoenix Gift Reviews. I wanted to show you one other thing. This is the book. I'm doing NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, and this is the book that I'm working on for National Novel Writing Month. And so I've given myself a little blurb here. about the writing process, etc. And this is just a little clip from the very first part of the book, where I'm actually as a preface to the book itself. And Nissi is actually a prequel sequel to the other two books, in that Sinon starts out, Sinon of Kira is about 600 BC in ancient Greece. And he goes on an adventure, and he takes with him Mentu, his servant. But Mentu, partway through the adventure, said he had to have his own book. So I wrote a book for Mentu, and in the process met his mother, Nissi. And then she kind of obviously needed a book. So it's a prequel sequel, in that we start with her prior to the book Sinon of Kira, and then we follow her all the way through Sinon, through Mentu, and then well beyond that. So it's kind of a fun adventure. But one of the things that I found that's really interesting is as I do the overlap portion, where I'm actually dealing with the same events that might be covered in the Sinon of Kira or Mentu, I have to take those scenes and simply change the point of view, and make sure that it's consistent with what's in those other books, so we don't get into a problem with that. So yeah, basically this is it, and I'm looking forward to the new platform and the ability to actually sell the books. Right now, if somebody wants to buy a book, they have to send me an email, and I make those kinds of arrangements, which is mentioned on this website. I wanted to say too that this graphic here is actually a piece of the cover of Mentu the Nubian, and it was put together by one of the gals in my critique group. There's 5 of us in the critique group. 3 of them are past students of mine, and we're all published. And but she's doing book coaching and design and layout and what have you. So she put together a really cool web or a cover, which I talked about before in another meeting. So that's kind of a cool feature. Let's see here. So Linda, that's basically what I have to show.
That's great.
And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Well, let's see. Does people have some questions here? If you think of something after we've moved on, you can always type it into the chat too. Because
When I was teaching, it was always a good sign if they didn't have questions, because that means we covered it properly.
there's so much though, Steve. There's so much. This whole thing is huge. I know, because I struggle with websites. Anyway, I've got them all over the place. Okay, well, why don't we move on then to Beth right now? And I was so happy when Beth volunteered to bring in her, well, it's more than 2 cents. It's a lot more than that, I'm sure. And she sent me so much wonderful upfront information, and where she described all the different points that I'd asked about, and I appreciated that. But I'm going to let you go through it all over again, Beth. Anyway, Beth has been, she's a strong member of SASP, and which is Spokane Authors and Self-Publishers, as are some of the other individuals here. And she's also been with the Guild for a number of years, used to come to our live meetings when we had them. So I really, really appreciate her being willing to share with us tonight. And with that, I will let you take over. Beth, are you able to do the screenshots?
Well, we're going to give it a try.
Okay, all right.
Just like to say thank you, Linda, for facilitating all of this, and we'll go ahead and do our best. I'm probably among the minority of the presenters tonight in not only being older than average, but a decidedly frugal indie writer. So now I'm going to use, for the first time ever, first time ever for I don't know how to do this, a window application that I want to share, and there it is. Are you seeing it?
Yes, we are.
You're seeing my website?
Mhm.
Somebody say yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, so what I want to say is, notice it says bethandwriting.blogspot.com. That's because I'm too cheap to pay for my domain. Every place I looked, they wanted money, and I didn't even know if I needed a website, so I wasn't going to shell it out. So sorry, and I appreciate those of you who do make that investment, but no. So basically what you're going to see is pretty much, I'm going to just take you through it real pretty fast here, but you see is my beautiful new header. And I made that, and that. I made all those covers myself. The images on the book covers come from a wonderful artist on Pixabay, Pixabay, and they are free. I just give him credit, okay? Now, notice the navigation is pretty much what you've seen on other websites, but pretty darn simple. I just have the blog, my books, a place to sign up for a newsletter, and my bio. So I'm not a real active blogger. I wish I were a little better. I would like to go for twice a month, but basically I write once a month. That's my base commitment. And if I can, let's see if I can bring it over. I don't know how to show you the side. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever used this view, split the screen, but basically I write about whatever I think my readers are interested in, and I'm in the Insecure Writers Support Group. So once a month, that's my motivation to post on my blog. I love challenges, usually in October and April, National Poetry Month, and I try to do a poem a day and pick up a lot of readers that way. Yes, I'm doing Nano, and yes, for my first time ever, I signed up for this marketing to give away freebies to people, and that's been kind of interesting, and I have comments. But what I want you to see is up here on the top. I wish I could show you the right-hand side of this a little better, but I can't slide it over for some reason. This get new posts is for people to actually put their email in. It's also a freebie. So that when I post something, they get a notification in the email. I'd like to be able to tell you who did it, but I can't, so never mind. I do, like Frank, have a static welcome. I thought he did an excellent job of having a welcome that introduced the reader and brought the reader in without overwhelming the reader with a lot of links and directions to go, and he doesn't have to update it. If readers want to go over to his blog, then they will. And I thought that was a neat strategy. In fact, I've learned a little something from every blog I looked at. Here's another sign up for the newsletter, promo. All of these graphics I've made myself using a free, not free service called BookBrush that allows me to take images that I have and create the marketing tools that I need. I do want to show you this travel blog, if it clicks over, and it does. This is kind of moribund. You'll see the last post is in 2019, and you might ask, why did I do this? Well, I want to slide down here. I know it's going really, really fast, but I'm going to show you that I've been blogging on here since 2003, and you can see how many posts there were. And the main purpose of this blog was not about writing. It was about traveling. And what I wanted was an easy and free way to share my impressions of all the wonderful trips that I've been lucky to take around the world. South America, Europe, not Africa, yes, Africa, but pretty much everywhere that we've been. And what I'm most interested in doing is sharing easily photos and commentary so that people could travel along with Alan and me as we went adventuring. Now, back to the writing blog. Do I have a WordPress blog? do I want to take it down? And the answer is, oh yeah. For me, the WordPress blog was incredibly difficult. I found it cumbersome, as again, Frank did mention. I found the editing process cumbersome. I found the ability to integrate photos into my writing, because I happen to be a visual person. But here on Blogger, which is totally free, and yes, I did get Blogspot in their name, and that's too bad. What I want to say is over here, if I can get here without turning things on, I want to just take you behind the screen and show you. If you look at the left-hand column, I'm just going to say you can see posts just this easy. And when you look at any post, basically you can't see all the options, but you can edit, go in, change things, delete them, and you can see statistics, you can see all the comments, you can monetize it, although I haven't taken that, and you can add new pages, you can work on themes like the other ones, you can customize, but again, you have the same kinds of resources that you might, and it's simply a click, try, edit, try. I like the learnings, or we're going to go back to the main blog. I like the learning process of using this and try to keep it updated. I used to have events, as many other bloggers do, but because of the pandemic, I haven't been going anywhere. So all I can say is most of the time I am using my blog to share with my readers ideas and a little bit about writing and a little bit about my current projects. And I enjoy blogging, but it's not my primary. My primary head is in my writing and revisions. So I want something that is simple to do, no cost. And even though some people may feel that the domain is not as professional, who am I kidding? I'm an older than average writer. I like to write books. If people like to read them, fine, jump right in. So if I were to say anything else, I would like to say, when you're thinking about doing a website, the most important thing to me was to create a website that has balance with my other interests. My primary goal is to reach out to my readers and build relationships and try to work on keeping the budget as low as possible, deciding how much you want to spend on a blog. And then, because people will sometimes charge quite a bit for graphics, for design, and for even writing posts, which seems, at least for a writer, a little unusual. So the decision is, how much energy do you have, and how can you use it most strategically to reach the audience that you really want to connect with? So that's what's kind of behind my thinking in being quite happy with a simple blog, and one that keeps me focused on writing. So that's pretty much what I have to say. Maybe I'm a little shorter than other people, but that gives us more time to learn from others. So I'd say questions? Or shall we save the questions for the end?
No, we can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to turn this off, I think,
Yeah, here you
if
go.
I know how. Okay,
Just hit the share screen again, it should come off.
if I can find it. Somebody, oh, there it is, maybe. Oh, you can tell my skills in this area are limited. Oh, there it is.
You're fine. We're all limited in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, gosh. Well, this is a brand new skill for me. Hide thumbnail video, show grid. I can't find it. I'm sorry. Ah, stop.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I found it.
Very good.
It was at the top before it was at the bottom.
I know.
Ah,
That's, I love technology. Well, that was wonderful. Any questions for Beth right now? Or you can always type them into the chat if you know, think of something later.
I think you should just dive right into TikTok, you know.
TikTok.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah. And I like the name
Oh.
of your writer club, the Insecure Writers Club. So I belong to the Rocket Bakery Writers Bums. So,
Oh,
it's important to have our friends in the writer club. So um,
Yep.
writers world, I
Exactly,
should say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead then with Dave McChesney? I saved you for, I was gonna say I saved the best for last, but these people would all go, no, don't say that. So
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm the best or not, or the last of either one or not. So
you have some beautiful artwork on your site, so I did want to share that, Dave. Dave has been a part of the guild for many, many years, and you're also up in SASP, aren't you?
in which,
SASP,
yes,
yeah, I thought so. They got here before Bonnie and I did. Bonnie, when we started the local group, I don't know if we didn't know SASP was there. I just don't know. But anyway, maybe we felt they needed competition. Who knows?
No, we didn't actually. I met my first meeting to SAP was with somebody who came to our meeting and they invited me. And so that's how I found them. So that's, yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
cool.
Found
I
you got.
remember Bonnie being to some of the SAS meetings.
Mhm, mhm.
It was really early on. It was right after I moved to Spokane. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
This is-
of course, I haven't gone to anything for a couple of years, but
no.
I'm
Who
in
has?
SASP too. And Dave has informed me that my membership is paid through the end of the year, so I'm safe until January. But
Right.
so any of you who have not paid your dues yet, I will give an advance warning. You need to pay your dues for next year. Okay, Dave, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Do you have my stuff? Because I don't have the computer to put
I
the,
should have it here. Let me boink. Let's see. That's not the way to do it. Screen share. And let me find you here. Where are you? That can't be right. Yep.
Are you on your phone or something, Dave?
yeah,
Okay.
because I don't have a camera in my computer.
I gotcha.
Well, where the heck? Wait a minute. Something's not right here. I had everything. Well, where'd you go? You were here. See, we're having all sorts of difficulties with this stuff. Hey, give me a half a second and I know where to go grab it. And sure. Screenshots. And there it is. That down there. Put that over there. Shove that direction. There he is. Do I hit the thing first and then screen share, or screen share first and then? Let's see, screen share.
You're asking me?
Then
Make
we-
sure that you have selected
Share.
what you want to share. Yeah.
Okay.
And then share. There you go.
That's-
Okay.
Did that work right?
Yes.
Oh, it's because I'm sharing, so it's on my computer. Heavens.
Yeah.
No wonder it looks different. Okay.
Okay, we ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me put the dog down. He come over, getting in my way. I actually have what I consider to be two different websites. This is my main one. And it's on, well, it's www.stoneislandseastories.com. And it's set up on a place called Website Palace. And near as I can figure, Website Palace is a cheap version of GoDaddy. And we set it up back in 2008, 2009. My daughter built the page or the site for me as her senior project. And whether it's difficult or not, I don't know. I didn't build it. She did all the research, did all the work. She'd come ask me for options. You want A or B? And I'd say B. And say, well, if you got B, then you want one or two, and that's kind of the way we build it. And I do own the domain name. And there's another one I own too, which is basically myname.com or something like that. And I'm paying for it because I figure I might use it someday. And if you're wondering about price, yes, I do pay for it. I think you pay some every year for the domain name. I pay some on kind of a recurring basis for the site itself and also for the hosting, which is something I'll talk about in a minute because hosting's kind of, from my viewpoint, has changed a little bit. Okay. Anyway, I kind of see this as the center part or the hub of my online presence as a writer. Let's see, I'm double checking my notes, so.
And I have
try
to
to-
tell you, Dave, I've noticed everybody else is doing theirs by live computer feed. So they can move around and all I have is a screenshot of you.
Well, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay.
But you can see up there at the top that there's several different links. One, and I'm trying to read it off the screen here on my phone, so if I'm getting up real close, so there's the home page, then there's links to Facebook, my blog, which is on LiveJournal, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Author page, Amazon author page, Twitter. Then there's some of the different pages that's on the site, bios and stuff like that. And I see this as kind of a central point. If I give you my website, you should be able to go to this and be able to track down anything else if you need to. I have various places in there. There's one called Writing. You go there and you can find samples of the 3 different stories. I think it's the first chapter of each. I think there's also one for a short story I wrote a few years ago. And I just have different links and stuff like that to go on it. Okay. That's what I guess would be the advantages of it. And the question that was asked for us to discuss about is what are the limitations? What I'm finding is that the current hosting program that they've used, which is called Plesk, Plesk, it seems to be a little more complicated and it's slower than the one that they used to use. And my computer literacy is somewhat limited, so I have some trouble using it sometimes, and there's probably some features that I'm not using. Like I mentioned before, I see this site as something permanent where folks can go to learn about my books, my writing, maybe a little bit about me, even if it's been on there for ages. Stuff on here changes, but it's not going to change all the time. Or if I do anything on Twitter or Facebook or a LiveJournal account, it's up there and it's gone. It kind of disappears and slides to the background. I got to point out that when it was first created, when my daughter first made it, it was probably a little more artistic, more professional looking. It looked somewhat like, well, there was 2 sites that we kind of looked at to see what I wanted. And one was the Spokane Authors website. And the other was a site from a writer whose books I liked at that time. And she set it up like that. Well, I discovered some way to get in and make some changes to update the site. And it kicked a lot of that stuff off of there. So that's why it's a little homemade looking, I guess. And I don't update it as often as I should. And I think a major revision and update is in the offing. And I don't know, did you by chance put up the LiveJournal one? Did you take a screenshot of that or not?
No, all I did was your
Okay.
website, I think.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll make a quick run through on the LiveJournal stuff.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm still on LiveJournal, https://vespican.livejournal.com. And it's basically just a journaling or a blogging account, and it's on a place called LiveJournal. and didn't really have to build it because it's just a matter of signing up, choosing a username, password. And the easiest way to do it, if somebody would still want a LiveJournal account, is to go to one like mine. And there's a place up at the top that says join. And I don't think on this, it's like, I think the username of the Vesperkin.com, I think it's a strictly a username like a Facebook name or a Twitter handle or anything. So I don't really think I own it. At the level of use that I'm at, it doesn't cost anything. There's like 2 or 3 different levels of involvement. The first 2 levels don't cost anything, although you do get ads and stuff going in the background. Higher levels have a cost, and they allow more pictures, more
Mary,
versatility and stuff there. So
I think Beth is sharing something there for you.
okay, yeah, there's a site there. You can see there's the commercial there for thank you, Beth, for the ad there at the top for Wix. And it goes down into it's a very simple thing, but it's where I end up blogging at. And I find it's easy to use. It's real simple, real instinctive. I've been on it since 2007. And the biggest problem with it now is that nobody uses it anymore. When I first joined, it seemed like everybody had an LJ account. Writers, agents, people all around. There were a lot of what they call communities. Well, it could be some for writers. I was in one for, or am in one for fans of Horatio Hornblower, sea stories and that. So now when I post something on there, it automatically goes to Twitter. And I manually put a link on my Facebook page. And one time I had the Facebook set up to where it would supposed to go to Facebook, but I discovered it was going to my profile and not to the page. So I just discontinued that, and I just figured that's a good time to post something on the Facebook page. So I posted, put the link in there. And this is one of those places I got onto because I wanted to comment on somebody else's account, and they'd set it to allow comments only from other LiveJournal users. So I started an account, and I've been going back, and I think you can see up there where in the right-hand side as you look in there, there's recent articles, archives, friends, and profile. I can go to my profile and look through there and see who all the people were that were my friends at one time. And I think Beth had an account, and I think she's still showing up in there. And again, with this, based on what level of account you have, there are certain limits on what you can do, certain number of what they call user picks, which is the ones that go up along the kind of the side of the post up there. Well, I think for mine, it's the cover of the first book, of my first book and stuff there. And what I've been trying to do with this is post about once a week, and I'm kind of trying to alter between what I call thoughts on writing, where I'm kind of going through the writing process as I understand it. I started out with how I became a writer probably about a year ago. Just short little posts about what happened. I went through process of writing as I see it, the editing, talked a little bit about standard format because nobody seems to talk about that anymore. Talked a little bit about, and now I've just started into taking a look at publishing. And on alternate posts, I try to put up a little excerpt from the books. And I'm up to, I think the last one I did here the other day was something from chapter 5 of the newest book. So just, a page worth or something like that. And that's kind of where I'm at on this stuff. And I probably keep using this because I'm stubborn and I've got it. So if we're ready to go on, that's all I need, I think. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. I will ask if folks have questions for Dave about any of this that he shared, and remind you if you think of anything before we end.
Oh, and while you're still there, and the thing's right up there, the picture across the top, that's one of the ones I wanted to try to show last week, or
Mhm,
last time we were here, when
mhm,
we were visiting.
right.
Is that your drawing as well, Dave?
Yes,
Very cool.
yes.
I had one of your paintings on my wall for quite a while, Dave.
Uh,
Okay. And I assume that one lovely one we saw at Vespacan, that with the water, and it said something about being a painting. That was gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's
probably alongside the one post on the Live Journal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was lovely. Lovely.
Yeah.
Do you have any more of those things on there? I'm gonna have to go spend some time.
Yeah, there might be a few of them if you've thumbed through there and just keep scrolling through it.
All
The
right.
neat thing about that is I was going back earlier before we got on here to the Live Journal. I was going back and looking at my very first posts from September 2007. So
Wow.
they're all there. That's kind of the neat thing about it.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
A lot of strolls through memory lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so
Well,
much, Beth, for doing that and sharing
Yeah.
that. too.
Thank you.
Well, folks, I thought we'd go to around 8:15 and we're at 8:08. Hey, we're not doing too bad
Maybe.
here.
Okay, I'm going to shut myself off.
You're going to shut yourself. There you go.
I
Okay.
have a couple questions too, when there's a chance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has anybody used Squarespace and Wix before? Because I had Wix that I used for I used to have a mushroom farm, and that Wix worked really, really well. I loved it, but everybody's now pushing me towards Squarespace, and so I didn't know if anybody had any experience with websites. Wix was super, super easy to use, but if nobody has used it before, then that's okay. I'll find out and I'll report back.
I've used Wix, but it's been quite a while ago. It's great if all you want to do is make one quickly and put it up. I moved to WordPress.
WordPress, okay. I did like that one that Frank had on WordPress. That looked really nice too. So.
Yeah, WordPress lets you put the blog on the opening page or on another page, so you can have a static page that everybody gets to, and then you can separate different subjects for the blog. So they might want to blog on one of your books, and you might want to have another blog on another book, and they don't have to see both of them, mixed in together.
Gotcha. And one on mushrooms.
Hey, another note on that. I use Blogspot like Beth does, but you can feed it into your WordPress blog. So you're not required to use the WordPress blog. You can just send your Blogspot. If you're on Blogspot or LiveJournal or whatever, you can just feed it straight in, and it works. It works pretty good. Well, it doesn't work perfect. There's header issues sometimes, but it eventually works out. Either way, just another option if you're feeling like you got a foot in each stream. You don't actually have to worry about it.
Very cool.
One thing to say about web pages, your first try is going to look terrible. It's a process. You try it, you fix it, try it again, and keep fixing it until you get it the way you want it.
Yeah. And usually you're given the option of, you don't have to publish it right away. So nobody
Right.
can see it. And until you promote it, they won't even know it's there either. So, because you have to still go out and share your URL with people so they can find it.
Yes.
Might be some people on that site wandering around, other members that will discover you accidentally, you know, mid-building, but and if you're not paying any money for anything, you're not at a loss. You just lose, well, you can lose some time. That's about it.
And there are a number of sandbox options where you run it from a local server on your own computer, and you don't have to worry about FTPing or uploading your stuff to the website, and you can play around until you get it the way you want it, and then there's a straightforward process of sending it to the real online systems.
Okay, how are we doing? Anyone? Yeah, Beth.
I just wanted to add that nobody has said a single word about HTML. So I am a fan of Blogger, and what Blogger does, for those of you who care, you can switch from text to HTML to make sure that the commands you want for shaping up your graphics or changing the font are consistent, but you easily can write in text. And then if there's something wrong, you could learn a little bit about HTML. It won't hurt, I promise.
I was fortunate because years ago, I got involved with Auntie's website, which is hosted by American Booksellers Association, and it's got a strong engine that lets you do so many things. You can get lost in it actually, but yeah, I love to switch back and forth and look at stuff and go at it both ways before I post the page. So
Yeah, webs, they all typically have a WYSIWYG,
mhm,
and then you can switch to see how it looks
yeah.
yeah.
So that's why I say, if you're not spending any money on it, and you haven't published it yet, go play somewhere. Just pick one and fiddle about. You can't lose a thing. So, you know,
Instant WordPress is free, and you can play with it to your heart's content.
mhm.
Hey, Linda,
Yeah.
I have found my little video that I was talking about. It's about
Uh-huh.
40 seconds if you'd like to see it.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
We'll
I'll
have to
share
see
it real
what.
quick.
You got screen share, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'll do that.
Okie doke.
Yeah, I was just looking at it a while ago.
Menchu the Nubian is hot off the press. The sequel to Sainon of Kira, this book follows the adventures of Menchu as he becomes the captain of a merchant ship, the Cyrene. Pirates, thieves, and challenges of new relationships coupled with the responsibilities of making the ship a profitable venture all contribute to Menchu's new life. He isn't confident in his decision to take on all of this, but once the opportunity presents itself, he is swept into changes that can't be reversed. Menchu becomes determined to succeed, though his doubts surface as he struggles to deal with so much change in his life.
Nice. Was that very hard to set up?
No, not really. I did have to buy the access to that new speech technology, but didn't that voice sound like real?
Yeah, it did.
That is a computer generated voice.
What's it called?
The program is called Speechalo.
Speechalo,
Speechalo. I'm not real sure about the spelling.
Okay, folks.
Yeah, but that it can take you there.
I made a wild guess, so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I think you can tell this stuff just goes on and on. I mean, we could spend the next 2 years having meetings about just different pieces of all of this. So do be sure to send me your requests for anything you want to be played in the future. and we'll try to get that on the turntable.
Yes.
I want to thank our presenters tonight. This was wonderful. I don't know what happened to Patricia, but and thank you for Carissa for the comments that you made in the chat, which reminds me, if you haven't yet, if you click on your little chat, it looks like one of those old fashioned, talking here, the little balloon, speech balloons. It will show on the side, on the very far bottom to the right, 3 little dots. If you click on that, the first item above that says participant can chat. Well, that's what I hit, but chat, save chat. Just click on that, and there's a little check mark next to thing on the left that says chat saved. That will show up when you leave this meeting. Your computer is going to have that and let you move it someplace else if you want to, but otherwise it puts it under whatever your menu, your oh Lord, your file list has. If wherever it has Zoom, you will find it tucked in there automatically by date and topic. So, okay. I have to save those all the time because otherwise I won't remember a darn thing. Now, isn't that the strangest thing that happens when you're, a little long in the tooth? You guys have been wonderful. I really appreciate all the folks showing up and supporting, and Frank and Beth and Steve and Dave, you did a great job. And I look forward to the future when we'll have some more stuff. Thanks, Erin.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Linda.
you.
Good to
Thank
see
you all.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, Linda, I'm working on a teaser video for
Are you?
one of my books. If anybody else is interested in that, that might be, I could learn something from it.
Yeah. So we might do some kind of a session on people doing videos and stuff for their marketing. I talked to Frank about the idea of early year doing something on different ways of marketing. But that too is a huge topic. So we may want to break it down and even have a series where we cover different parts of it. So this is great. Everybody is so helpful and wants to share. And I just love that. And in December, we're going to have, because of the holiday and everybody's tired and what have you, we'll have a quick read. So I've got a couple of folks that are going to read for us. It's just like you read for 3 minutes out of something you're working on, and then you can talk about why you're working on it and and your hopes for that new baby. So I will look forward to seeing whoever wants to volunteer to read next time. Hey,
That'd be fun.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.